to what?
The real age, the last time I looked, it was 70. That was
Last year,
last year,
2020.
2020.
So 19th of June,
But
1950 led us to 70 in 2020.
that's what they said.
There you go again. That's what it's coming up.
Unfortunately, my mom is late now, so we would have asked her. She would have been the only one who would have
To remind you.
specific. Yeah.
Yes, to remind you. Because
To
I know she
remind
told you. For instance, I know that you were so close to your mom. Describe your relationship with her.
Oh, it was heavenly. You know, that was what kept me in Abuja for a long time, taking care of my parents. And I'll tell you that that is the proudest job I ever did in my life. And I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to take good care of them, shower them with love, you know, because I'm sure in the beginning they didn't even think that that was possible, that it was going to be me. Because I give those people, I give them a tough time. I show them pepper. Kai, I show them pepper now. You know, as a growing teenager, you know. But I think in a roundabout way, I hold my father responsible because he always taught us to speak up and speak out. You know.
So you got that from him?
Yeah. He will always say things. I remember some of his famous quotes, you know, anywhere you see injustice, you know, you fight it. If you don't fight it, it will come back and chop your head off. You know, things like that. We always had that in the household. We always had things like, do you know who you are? Do you really know who you are? I'm giving you this name, or don't go and spoil it. Or, you know, you have to preserve it. So after, do you know, every time, do you know who you are? Do you know? I say I know who I am. My name is Charles Chukwemeka Oputa. I live at number 11 Borokiri, Ohofia Road, Port Harcourt. Said, no, you're an Oputa. I said, so? What does being an Oputa mean?
Well, can I pose his question back to you now? Do you really know who you are?
Yeah.
Or have you found out
It
who you
because of knowing who I am that gives me the confidence in the things that I do and in being comfortable in my own skin because I know who I am, I know where I'm coming from, I know where I've been to, and I know exactly what I want to do with my life. And praise the Lord, I've been doing that for the past 70 years.
70 is back.
Sure you wanna test my ride? Power back here. Sure you wanna take a ride? CB, you know me.
Now, the journey to discover yourself, to know who you are, took you out of Nigeria in your teens. And your dad wanted you to be a lawyer.
Not necessarily.
So,
He
did
wasn't
anybody want you to
fussy
be a
about.
lawyer?
He wasn't. He would have loved everybody because he sees anybody, you know, they start talking law, or if you have some love for law and things like that, oh, then he made a friend in my father. But no, we were just allowed to express ourselves, you know, any which way we wanted, because that was the first freedom, to be vocal, to be curious, to ask questions. We were taught that.
Probe your environment.
Yeah, not to. We're not like the kids. Like when you have elders come over to the house, you know, you tell your kids to go to the other room. Elders are there. No, we weren't brought up like that. We were brought up to stay with elderly people, you know, and we were encouraged to be curious, to ask questions, even though we didn't know what the hell, you know, the issue were about those days. Yeah. And then from early enough, that kind of made me very comfortable with people who are much older than me.
Yeah, I read somewhere that you studied communication.
Yes, I'm a mass comm major, you know. I did mass comm, radio, TV, you know. I used to run a public relation, outfit, we specialized in TV program, radio program,
Yeah.
adverts, stuff like that, the documentaries. We did a lot for state governments, federal governments, back in the days.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Now, let's relate that to your life as a performer, as an artist. Was your education helpful in putting it on track?
Yeah, it taught me how to look at things from different perspective. It taught me about being open, being my authentic self. My father raised us very well, if I must say, because early enough, I always heard him say, "Man, know thyself." A person who has a full understanding of him or herself and knows exactly what he's been given grace to do will only find fulfillment in the things that he or she does.
That's deep.
Yes, and I think my parents set us up on that track. Yeah.
So, reading mass comm was very useful to you in your engagements as a performer.
Oh yeah.
As an
yeah,
activist.
understanding.
As an activist.
Yeah, understanding the human psyche, understanding, arty people, they like to exaggerate a lot, and where your stunts, your hypes have become effective is when people start to see you in different lights.
Yes.
Because Charlie Boy means different things to different people. It's only from where you stand. If one stands on the side of ignorance, that's all you think that whatever this brand is doing is just something weird about him. There's nothing weird about it.
Talking about something weird, when you hit the scenes in the 80s,
Yeah.
everybody was saying, he's the son of a Supreme Court Justice.
So
how
bloody
can he?
what?
How can he dress like that? And you're still dressing like that at 71. Well, almost
No,
71.
I've calmed down a
No,
bit.
calm.
Yeah.
This one is coming.
This one, they come now. I
This?
remember when my head used to be red, yellow, green, and all of that.
And you don't get hair again.
Yeah, I don't get hair again.
Yeah, so
now.
it's not coming, you are toning
When I used to
differently.
wear 2 different shoes on, each leg, my craze that time, computer no reach am.
You even use the word Chris.
Yeah.
You have not seen that Chris.
Although my mom was very understanding. My father, on the other hand, actually thought I was crazy. I say crazy because a lot of people out there too thought that the flamboyant image I built as Charlie Boy was crazy, weird, too loud, too flamboyant, not acceptable, perceived as not responsible, especially for the family image. You see, it's a different kind of craze because
Yeah.
this craze, wait a minute, this craze is organized. It's well.
It's intentional.
It's intentional.
What was the intention about?
When you have a famous father,
Good.
it's like a big thing hanging over your head.
A huge umbrella.
No, not an umbrella. It becomes a burden. Like, I like to give you an example.
Yeah.
Like, what's his name? Femi Kuti.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah? Fela's son.
Son. Yeah.
Fela was that big.
Huge.
So, can you imagine the struggle Femi at the time was going through to be
Femi.
to
Not Fela's son.
find his own identity?
Yes.
Because no matter what he will do at the time, He said, "Ah, you can't be like fella.
So there you
Can't be
were.
like
There you
Yeah, I hated to live under anybody's shadow. I didn't want that.
were. But
I
that
wanted
man
to
gave you covering.
Say?
Your dad, his name gave you covering. He pushed you to go
He-
get
no,
education.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, from that perspective, sure. He gave me all I required.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that.
And then you came back, you rebelled against all that you got. We need to say, I want you to say it.
Yes.
So why?
Yes.
Because you
Why?
know you don't want that
Because-
cover.
Why? Because you can't just call me up one morning and say, here, take a letter, go there, pack your bag, go and start work. No. I am going to take that from anybody. I never told anybody, I never had any discussion. Say, I'm going to go into paid employment 9 to 5. Yeah, we not discuss that. So when I got that letter one morning, that was in Owerri. I learned I know they go anywhere. That was when our fight really started.
Okay.
You say, why? Everybody, once they finish university, then find work. We don't find for you, you no one work. I said, I didn't have that discussion with you. Oh yeah, what do you want to do? Because I was tired of living under this shadow. I wanted to break away.
Break away.
I wanted to do my own thing.
Not break away, break out.
Break out. Yeah. I wanted to do my own thing. So when it came to a head, when they asked me what I wanted to do, and I said, I want to be an entertainer. Of course, now everybody was disappointed. So that was when I decided I was going to cut the umbilical cord between me and my parents. At that time, we were in Owerri. So luckily for me, he was promoted as a Supreme Court judge. So he went to Lagos. Then me, we from America, come back.
Yeah.
Now village I go enter.
Yeah.
You don't see that kind of thing.
Yes, now. You wanted to
For
hit,
7 years.
he was hitting the reset button.
Yes. Now village I go start to build the brand Charlie Boy. And for that, those were the darkest 7 years of my life.
Wow.
Because that was when I came to appreciate poverty.
Poverty?
Struggle, yes.
Why?
Why not? Because what grows in the village, really? Villages are where people go, elderly people, senior citizens go to relax and fade out. There's no prospect in the village.
But there's
even though I had a recording studio.
There's rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation.
Yes.
When you are young, you're not talking about rejuvenation. You're talking about your burning ambition.
Yeah,
where
but
you
somebody
wanna be.
give you contact, you say you don't want.
Why I go on to 9 to 5 now? I want to do my own thing now. Other people know they succeed when they do their own thing.
They do.
Must I
But that was
go
all he
to pay?
knew.
Huh?
That was all he knew. He was offering you what
Yeah,
he knew.
no. Well, I don't blame him. You know,
Okay.
parents are usually, sometimes they're overbearing and they worry a lot about their children. I've learned from
That's very true.
my parents to worry less. Because look at how I turned out. I'm sure in my father's wildest dream when I was like 15, 20, he wouldn't have believed it. Because I always said, oh, you just want to throw your life away. But I knew exactly what I wanted. And I wasn't going to throw my life away. But I was going to do it my way.
So after 7 years, what happened?
After 7 years in the village, well, an angel I met in one of my rare trips to Lagos to, scout for a recording company, see who will, take my body of music. And, I met Tina Onwudiwe.
Yes.
Yeah, the African Oyibo. She's late now.
Yes, she is.
And that woman did a number on me. She was the one that restored first my confidence, because 7 years in the village robbed me of my confidence. I started to have an inferiority complex. I was avoiding my friends who I thought were doing much better than I was, and I swore never, ever in those 7 years to go back to my father to say, help me out.
I was just going to ask that in those 7 years, what was your relationship like with your dad?
It was really messed up. We weren't talking. In fact, I can boldly say that I disowned my parents. It got to a point where, you know, I couldn't really take care of my family. I was living with my present wife in the village at the time.
Yes.
So you can imagine, from America to the village, no running water, no light, nothing. So we're like stuck. But the beginning seemed all right. I just had some few gadgets and stuff. I did one emergency studio where guys would come patronize me.
Okay.
But after the first year or so, everything dried up. Nobody was coming again. That was when I learned how to chop bread and granite for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And it's usually very tasty.
It's very tasty, but too much cholesterol and all of that, not healthy. But that was what we could afford at the time.
At that time.
So 3 years, when me and poverty would do
Wrestling.
face you challenge, I had to ask my wife to leave, to go back
To the US.
to the US and walk and see whether she can send some little monies for us, because we just had our first baby, my last boy, you know, before she traveled. So I think my son was just about 9 months or a year
Okay, before they both left.
before. They didn't both leave.
Oh.
My son stayed. I was
stayed. Oh, you were
taking
taking
care
care
of
of him.
my son. Yes. I mean, they change nappy. I mean, they cook within the boy, they chop. Yes. I didn't have a maid. I didn't have anything.
It would be okay to conclude that you're a stubborn man.
Yes. If I want something, I can die for that
And
thing.
you took after your dad in that stubbornness.
I think it's my mother. I got that from my
both
mother.
of them?
Oh, my mother is. You can't shut my mother up. A big winch. Yeah.
So your wife went back to the US.
Yeah, she went back. She stayed almost 4 years. I didn't see her. She was sending money. God bless that woman's soul.
You guys are still together, right?
We're still together now. We all die here.
But after 7 years, you now broke onto the national scene properly then.
Yes, thanks to Tina Onwudiwe. I'll always say you can't talk about the history of the brand Charlie Boy without mentioning that name. That was that time now. I was like a mumu now. I was Tina's like pet. She noticed my self-esteem was low. She noticed I didn't have confidence, but she admired me for all the creativity at the time. And she saw in me what at that time I did not see in me. You know, because she was convinced that this was something special, this was something different, and it was going to blow. You know, I didn't see that because 7 years in the village, like I said, took its toll on me. I started to even feel sorry about myself. So she was the one who gave me my confidence back.
Now you got back that confidence, and it was easy for you, or wasn't it, to chart a path for yourself, to say, this is where I'm going?
Too easy.
Too easy.
Yes, too
So
easy.
those 7 years were necessary then?
Yeah, you have to go through. You have to go through a baptism of fire. I mean, you just don't. Things don't just happen like that. You must suffer. You must sweat small.
Okay. In the 80s, you were in your 30s. Now, you're at the beginning of your 70s now. You're 71 in June. Now, what has it been like?
Up and down. Because sometimes I have to be Charlie Boy. Sometimes I am me, Mr. Charles Chukwuemeka Oputa. And all the time that I'm me, sometimes I wake up in the morning, there's one ankle ache, one wrist ache, one headache somewhere.
The body.
So the body is not adjusting to the commands that
But
I'm
the engine
giving.
here is still.
But the engine here and Charlie Boy, they seem all fresh
They're in
and
sync.
youthful. Okay? And that is why when I leave the Charlie Boy brand, there's that thing that attracts young people, little kids, that lives in that brand that I don't want to lose, because it is the brand's simplicity, openness, authenticity that also keeps him youthful.
Now, talking about the youth and being youthful, you have been seen as a huge father figure to the younger generation of Nigerians, at least in the last 3 to 4 decades. And to all intents and purposes, you seem to have influenced the flow of their thoughts.
The brand has crisscrossed generations.
But there is a problem in our society today, and it is drug abuse. East, west, north, south, everywhere. What can we do about it?
We just have to keep fighting it.
How?
The people who young people look up to, they need to start to talk about it in a more positive light. For me, like, I'm open, I'm blunt, sometimes I'm wickedly blunt as Charlie Boy. I smoke weed, but I will never advocate that for young people.
Yeah.
I can't, but I'm old enough to know what's good for me and what's not good for me.
Yeah.
So I do my thing. Okay? The drug issue is a scourge as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And that is why, like with my kids, I want to be in tune with them, that I know everything. I mean, they can come up, they can be as open as I was taught to be with me. And they look upon me as their friends. Okay? Because I've been down that route before.
You said as their friend. That means that you are improving on the perception of the relationship. Because at some point, you didn't see your dad as your friend.
No, every child, you go think say your papa na him wicked pass now, you know. But all the good things that we were taught when we were little, those are the things I've run back to. Those are the things that are helping me in my life, even though that it's not in sync with the environment. But I've had to fall back on the values, the morality, the integrity as handed down by my father. And thank God, I'm not so much in a bad place not to say, I'm not going to do this. Putters don't do that.
Yes.
I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be like this. Even if it kills me, yeah, I can afford to do that. And so that's who I have become. But you know, the difference between me and my father, because in the beginning, my father used to punish also. He whipped me tire. And he scared me from learning, because he would want us to be cramming things. Cram and come and recite for him. That's not learning. So we're not learning because we had fun learning. We're learning because we're afraid. If you don't get this thing, you say make you go cram. It go whip you. It wasn't till I got to America that I knew that even learning could be fun. And I never looked back since then.
Since then. I was going to say that, you know, you're a very brilliant man.
I don't know about being.
It's me
you know,
talking now. You don't need to agree.
Okay. If you say so.
I mean, that's something that I needed to say so that I could put you a bit in a position that would be uncomfortable, because you don't like talking so much about what you have achieved.
I don't think I've achieved anything.
Oh, yes, you have.
It just maybe a little.
If you had it, for
something.
instance, there was a time you were the one who came out and quelled the uprising that Okada riders were about to embark upon in Lagos about 2-3 years ago. And as at that time, you had even stopped riding publicly. That's an achievement. You were a voice, and still you are a voice that people listen to.
Yeah, I know that a lot of millions of youth have been inspired by my lifestyle, by my story. They've been inspired in such a way that they now understand that they can't give up on themselves or their dreams. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter whether it's your father, your uncle, don't let anybody run your life. Mm-hmm. Live your most authentic life. And I don't know how it sounds now. It may sound too analogish, but hard work does pay.
So, hard work pays. Still on the youth. I don't hammer. I want hammer. That's what you hear. That motor winning they drive. That's what I covet. I claim it. How? What can we do? Because
the young people are looking at the elders. They're copying all these things from their elders. They are not living in isolation. Monkey see, monkey do. They are waiting how Papa live their life. Now then they copy so. How the people who, by God's grace, are in a position of leadership, how they messed up. They messed up our environment, they messed up the system. You can imagine the plight of young people. Government has failed them. Community has failed them. Parents have failed them. Where should they turn to? In our time, in your time, we had support system. If you are naughty, you're not in your neighborhood, and you're in some other neighborhood, and you do something naughty. In our time, somebody could see you and say, who you be? Who be your papa? After you don't ask that question, say, oh, no, they behave like this for this house. He go correct you, he go send you back, go meet your parents, say, this is what I found your kid doing. Everybody's eye was on the young people, the teachers, the community.
Yes.
Because for my time, when you don't finish like class 5, before you go to the university and you have a good result, before you come back to your house, many people don't call party for your head.
Yes.
It was a thing of pride for parents to say, my son is doing so well in school. It wasn't about the money.
But would you say there's also the part played by population explosion?
It's population explosion, wrong priorities, wrong values. After the war, when we now started to adopt the system, my teeth better pass your teeth. Now there everything crash. Because a thief is a thief. There are consequences of stealing.
Yes.
So all thieves should be prosecuted the same way.
Same way, yes.
Be when your man there for position of power and he's a bloody thief. You say, no, it's okay. But when my own thief come now, it becomes a problem for you. Until we can solve that. It's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Your thief is better than my thief.
You're saying there must be equality in justice.
Precise now. Do A as you take do B. The problem we're having in Nigeria today is because of the too many injustices everywhere. In the north, in the south, in the west, in the east. Injustice everywhere.
Let's evaluate the problem of insecurity in our country. There's so much call for breakup. North wants to go, East wants to go, West wants to go. Where are we going?
We're entering a big dark ditch. We don't know who is flying this plane. This contraption called Nigeria, where is it from? Is it our creation? Or is it the British creation? So, if you have leadership from the 19th century, it can't fit in the 21st century, can it? It can't work.
We can't, yes.
Yeah? If you have a building with a faulty foundation, with the foundation of the building, they're not doing well. Then after you don't build like 2 stories, you want to put the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th on a faulty foundation, will that house stand? My brother, it no go stand now.
Yeah.
So
So what's the solution?
the solution, bring down this house, start again. Because whether we like it or not, what is coming, what is about to happen to us is worse than what we've seen already.
By bring down the house, are you saying
We start,
restructure?
it could be restructuring if we go agree. Because you see, this is a give and take situation. Husband and wife live together. They no go talk. When they come to the table, if they have differences, they talk it out.
Yeah.
They have equal respect for one another.
Yeah.
If na the husband just they do what you do, na me dey here, na me be Lord and Master, how the marriage go work now? That is it. Because before we used to have this regional system where we made contribution to the center.
Yeah.
Why monkey go to work but put the chop? I don't understand. That is the injustices that I'm talking about. That is why Biafra people want to go their own. Oduduwa people want to go their own. Arawa people want to go their own. Because they can't stand these injustices. So until we come to the table to have that conversation sincerely and genuinely, I'm sorry, it's going to get worse. Then we now bring down the house. The house will fall, bata, bata. Then we can start from beginning and correct that faulty foundation that we failed to correct in the first instance.
That's your prescription.
That's my prescription.
Talking
And
about
that's the only way I can see it working.
talking about prescription. Have you taken your COVID-19 vaccination?
They were supposed to come. They were supposed to come to the house this morning. I don't know what happened. So I'm hoping that this week, they come to me.
Supposed to come.
Yes.
You're your father.
Yes, sir.
Ew.
I say, Father, now. Hey.
But what would you say to people about the vaccine and being healthy?
Well, how much time remains for me now?
Not to talk like that. Not scare us
No,
now.
just being realistic. How much time remain now? If na poison be the vaccine, they give me that. Man must die. Something kill a man. Yeah, it can't be that bad. Prevention is better than cure. So I rather know that I've done everything
Good.
to be safe. So whatever happens, happens. So it's a good thing. I think I like to encourage people to go out and have the vaccine. How bad could it be? Yeah.
Yes.
And still wear the face masks and practice good hygiene.
Good hygiene. Now, you don't like being reminded of your age. You love being the one to tell
No,
us that you are.
because age. What
Wait,
is
wait
age?
now. I
Age
never
is neither-
finished the thing
Okay,
now.
sorry,
Make you
sorry.
hear me now. Which
Okay,
one?
Okay.
See, in regular society, everybody will be calling you senior citizen, elder statesman, and all that. But all of those things don't resonate with you. How does it feel to be a grandfather?
I don't feel any different. I feel the same way I felt 30, 40 years ago.
But how do you
not a big
relate
deal.
with your grandchildren?
I have 16. Oh, like my relationship with my children are not like father and son. They're like two adults, two playful, spoiled kids. And that's the way I like it, because my children tell me everything. You can't imagine sometimes I'm dazed by what they're saying to me, but I try not to show it, so they will always feel that they have a hip father, that I'm with the times, Because the kind things they come out for their mouth, I say, okay, let me bond them anyway. And when I remember as I shaking my parents too, I will just laugh. I go, calm down for Jesus, because what goes around comes around.
It comes around. I wish your mom were alive.
No, my mom, I had a good time with my mom after my father left. It was 3 years, so all the love was showered on her. And my mom pulled the biggest trick. I don't think she knew that I would have loved to be with her as she passes along, but she waited till I traveled when I wasn't around and decided to leave. And for a few days I didn't forgive her about that. I thought it was that wasn't the plan. But yes, I had fun with my mother. I always joked about her vision, and that's why I call her a witch, because she was very futuristic in her thinking.
She was like a prophetess to you.
Precise.
So the kind witch where you say your mama carry, you never seen type before. Why?
Simple. She was very futuristic, forward thinking. She held my father. That woman held the house. My father was a player. But my mom tamed him. And tamed all of us, more or less.
But she was also very soft towards you.
Oh, yes. Because she was the first to see that boy in me. She used to call me from the very first day I did hear something. I could comprehend things. She used to always call me Charlie Boy. So that's how that name came about. Because that was my pet name.
So the Charlie Boy actually came from her?
Yes. Yeah. That's why they call her witch. Yeah. And when people want to get into issues about how old are you, I say, I beg when I leave that thing. If my mama be witch, waiting, I have vampire blood now. What do I have to do with old age?
You had your first child at 17?
At 16.
16?
Yeah. I'm from Bel Spoil now.
From Bel?
From Bel.
Tell me.
I make it to say all these funny pastors they for that time. Night vigil them for the carry me go deliverance. Yeah,
but your mom took care of your first child. What's your relationship with him now?
I didn't even agree that it was my child now. Now when I come, things begin to work out for me, that I became more mature, that I went back to look for him. But then, at that time, we were supposed to be in school, not going around and getting women pregnant.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
But your mom she didn't give up on you.
No, just like I can't give up on my kids. Like I told you, children are like monkey see, monkey do. I've always seen my mom and my father together since I was born.
Yes.
Even when they have challenges and issues, before I turn my head the other way, I see them stealing kisses, holding hands,
And that's why you're still with your wife?
I guess, because I wanted to be better than what I saw. You understand?
Will you give yourself a pass mark now? Or would you grade yourself looking at their sheet and your sheet?
Yes, I've tried.
You've
45 years is no more now.
Yes.
Staying with somebody, no. The same smell, the same body, the same face, the same routine. I try. Over-try worry me.
Something to say to her.
She's my best friend. She
Okay.
knows that.
Look into the camera and tell her.
I don't have to be looking into the camera to tell her. She knows what she knows, and that's why we're all dying here. Nobody's going anywhere.
All right, we're about to round off this session of talk, but we won't go without talking about how to sustain older people in their old age. You're an old man now. What are your needs? What really are the needs of an older person?
You see, I'm always, like I say, I'm such an exceptionally blessed person. Only God fit understand. Okay? The kind blessing where I get, sometimes I don't think I deserve it because it could have gone the other way.
Yeah.
You understand? But I think that I'm living my life on purpose because I'm doing really what God had always intended for me to do via people.
Yeah.
I love people. I don't like to see suffering, people in agony. So my heart is always going out for the underdogs. And I got that from my mom. My mom was generous to stupidity. And my father had a little bit of that. And I know that I'm not even supposed to be alive as I'm talking to you. No, because my youth was rough. I got into all kinds of things. Okay? Even drugs. But I healed myself because those were the American years.
Dark days.
Yeah. And I said to myself, this is not how I was brought up. So why are you doing this? I had to even go and see a shrink to figure out, to say something wrong with me or only to be told that what activated my misbehavior at the time was the racism I experienced one-on-one in America. At the time, I was with my baby mama. Her sister came to visit. So there were two white women. And here I was sandwiched between two white women. We're just taking a leisure walk downtown Boston. And then 7 white, excuse my language, white trash comes out of the Cadillac, all with a baseball bat, nigger this, nigger that, just because I was walking with 2 white chicks. One was the mother-to-be of my baby boy. Then beat me that day. I thought I was going to die. The only thing that saved me that day was the police. You know, as police just they go around everywhere and are crime now. So they thought that, the white women I was with had run up to call the police. That's how they let me on. That's how I was saved. And I ended spending almost 5 weeks in the hospital. I never forgot that experience. That was just barely 8 months staying in America. I never thought I had racism in my blood. But then my hatred was potent because I just couldn't figure it out. In our house in Port Harcourt, when my father was a lawyer, he was a legal attorney to Mobile and stuff like that. So we did see Yubo people, they come house. I didn't think that there were any, I look at them as equals, not as superior to me. only to go to America. Then they asked me where I sabi speak English, whether I live in trees and all that crap, and to call me a nigger. So it wasn't till I saw the shrink when I was now questioning my modus operandi in America. Why am I doing all the stuff that I'm doing? That is kind of alien, you know? That came up.
Okay.
And that was how I was healed, and I said, I'm getting out of this country. I agree now, sir, old. No be lie you talk.
So what
But
does
Charlie
an
boy
old man
can be
need?
old, you know now.
Yeah, now.
Me as Charles Soputa, I agree. No be me they talk now. Sometimes I wake up, my knee is not in the right position. Either my neck don't bend, go one side. You know, little things like that. I'm more into myself, always checking my prostate, checking this, checking that, you know, as a health freak.
What does a man need, an old person need to survive now?
An old person needs a lot of companionship.
Companionship?
If you have children that are good, that are like Charlie Boy, who took care of his parents, that will make, you age so gracefully. And because an old person needs to surround himself with family and a lot of love.
Okay.
It can bring sunshine to your life.
Good health?
Good health is a sequence of where you are financially. So if you're a little okay, I think that's a major investment that everybody should make in themselves to make sure all the things are working when they should.
So let me throw you this final one now. All right. Are you okay? Financially?
Am I okay?
Financially.
Is Dangote okay financially?
On that note, thank you very much for coming on the program. You didn't disappoint me at all. I was expecting something like that. Thank you so much, Charlie Boy, for coming on the show. That's how we greet now. Eh?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Nice having you. I hope to come back so we can talk again and look at deeper, other deep stuff.
In every age, the good old days were always memories to cherish. Although no one ever thought they were good at that time, for every age has consisted of crises that seemed intolerable to the people who lived through them. Looking back now, one can really say, indeed, these days were good. My name is Tolulope Akmike Medebem Ni Adiolu, and here is my good old days story. I hail from Oderemo, Ogun State, but I was born and bred in Lagos Island Maternity, to be precise. My dad was His Royal Majesty Obasanjo Olufunsho Adeolu. He was an educationist, a seasoned broadcaster, actor, and finally he became an Oba, while my mom, Olori Adedayo Atinuke Adeolu, was a thoroughbred educationist. She was an English major. She rose through the ranks working for Lagos State Ministry of Education, where she actually retired as an education director. I am the fourth of 8 children and Olori's first. That's my mom. I grew up mostly with my aunties on Lagos Island, Ologbo, where my mom would drop me off and then pick me up over the weekend. My aunties were more like my big sisters then, and it was so much joy being with them. And guess what? We actually still deal the same way, even now as adults. They formed a core part of my childhood, and today, I proudly say anywhere that I was raised by 4 mothers, my mom inclusive. So imagine if these 4 mothers of mine got a whiff of my bad behavior in school. The story would never end, never. Each one of them would take turns to scold and punish me for bringing the family name and that of theirs to disrepute. Those were days of communal training where the community played a major role in child training and development. As much as these women, my moms, as much as they loved us and tried to ensure we charted our lives' course correctly growing up, they couldn't always protect us from everything. I must say, I had my own share of bullying. I started wearing glasses at a tender age. These glasses were as thick as the Coke bottom bottle. Yes, such was the thickness of my glasses. I could not see without wearing them. Different names people like us were called. Those days hurt, Sha. But the ability to move on regardless of all those snide remarks, developing a thick skin, and believing in what I can achieve through the grace that I have been blessed with by the Most High, saw me through those moments. In fact, it honestly contributed to who I have become today. I started my primary education at Yaniwura Nursery and Primary School in Ilupeju, Lagos, and then later moved to Estate Nursery and Primary School within the same Ilupeju environment. My secondary education was twofold. I started at Federal Government College, Ugwalao, where my uncle was the principal. And when he was transferred to Federal Government College, Sokoto, I naturally followed him to Sokoto, of course, to continue my secondary education. Such was the trust parents had on guardians in those days. The need to monitor a child and ensure that he or she was under a very strict control and tutelage of a mentor was considered essential for the moral and academic growth of such a child. Oh man, Sokoto taught me about being human. You may wish to ask, what does that mean? It meant that was where I learned that everyone was first human being before his tribe and ethnic learnings. At Federal Government College, Sokoto, we did not have or understand the divide of tribes or thongs. School then were not only about academics, but they were out to develop character as well. And that's what truly being educated is all about. We all grew up together, and today, quite a number of us are still friends, regardless of whatever situation or conditions we are presently in. Today, I am pretty much a people's person. All that matters to me about you as an individual, first and foremost, is the chemistry, not where you come from. And all this is, I believe, thanks to my orientation. Oh, testing times two. I mean, when a growing child will always be a child. Yes, I remember the story of caustic soda. In those days, I think my mom used it to wash the bathroom. It was a plastic beverage container kept away from prying eyes. One day, she sent me to get something from her room and I saw the container. I opened it and saw this sugar-looking substance and wondered why she kept it in her room. And guess what? I licked it and that was it. I started foaming. I ran into the sitting room and everyone went berserk, confused and scared. My mom lifted me and started running towards the hospital. I was rushed to the hospital where I was stabilized and brought home. On a good day, after all the drama, I would have still been beaten. But I think they believed I was traumatized enough, and she looked me in the eye and said, "That's what happens to thieves." No amount of beating could have shamed me like that, man. That was it. The tendency to steal perished forever in me. The first time my dad slapped me will be a story for another day. It was clear in my head, the biblical dictate of spare the rod and spoil the child. Over and over, my father would say that he had no inheritance he was leaving for any child. His greatest legacy to all of us, according to him, would be our education. So whatever he wanted to study, he was willing and ready to make it happen. Strangely, Dad's fame as an actor of repute wasn't something we thought about. I mean, it was just work as far as we knew. The only times it became a subject of discussion were when people saw you with him or found out he's your father and wanted to know what life is like living with him, or if he actually didn't have hands, based on his character in the famous Village Headmaster serial. Quite nostalgic. I recall how being his daughter impacted on me when I proceeded to Obafemi Awolowo University, Great Ife, where I obtained my bachelor's degree in arts from the Department of Dramatic Art. I had a lecturer who scored me rather low because he felt and actually knew I could do better. And he said to me, "To whom much is given, much is expected." That was a turning point of sorts in my academic. In those good old days, we were built to be resilient. We pushed on basically because we wanted to make our parents and ourselves proud. In the hierarchy of values, we were taught that honesty and integrity reign supreme. And I am very proud and thankful for these orientations and training. So what went wrong? Is it the same today as yesterday? I doubt. Is the situation hopeless? Certainly not. Is it possible to change the narrative? Absolutely yes. Like the light that cannot be hidden under a bushel, like the faith as a mustard seed, I believe the glory of Nigeria will shine and we shall blossom again if we begin to plant into the hearts and minds of people these time-tested values of truth, honesty, integrity, and sincerity of purpose. Personally, I don't think the challenge is solely upon today's youth. It's our inability to create the right mentorship programs. The youths tend to emulate what they see around them. So if change must come, if tomorrow must be brighter, then the right attitude and values must be reenacted today. The onus lies on each one of us to keep showcasing those things that we want emulated. Change can and will happen through a collective will and joint resolve to make it happen. Change begins with each and every one of us standing together in truth and believing that truly we can make the difference. We all deserve a better Nigeria, better than those glorious days we speak about today. To this end, I join Sir Shemore Badejo in this collective desire to have a brighter future for not only our children, but for us too. God bless Nigeria. God bless all of us.
Who has the right of way? Nigerian roads come with a lot of chaos. The chaos is caused by a combination of drivers, motorcycle and tricycle riders, pedestrians, and sellers who all claim the right of way. The chain of right of way holders in Nigeria is hierarchical, and car and motor drivers are at the top of the chain with pedestrians at the bottom. Car or motor drivers believe that they always have the right of way regardless, and motorcycle and tricycle riders don't even have any regard for who has the right of way. For fear of accidents and their lives, pedestrians have learned to cower. When a collision occurs, the question of who has the right of way is on the lip of all concerned as they try to figure out who is guilty. The law doesn't grant anyone the right of way, but you yield it to other road users under these circumstances. At a yield sign, to pedestrians in a crosswalk, to persons using a seeing eye guide dog, to persons using a white cane with or without a red tape, at T intersections where you must yield to vehicles on the through road, at uncontrolled intersections where vehicles are already in the intersection, when driving on an unpaved road that intersects with a paved road, when returning to the roadway after a car is parked. Pedestrians must always be yielded the right of way at intersections and crosswalks. Treat bicycles as motor vehicles. Yield to bicyclists in all situations where you would yield to a car. For example, wait for an oncoming bicycle to pass before turning left. Turn right at a red light if it's permitted and no vehicles are approaching. If you see a sign that says no right turn on red, then you must wait for the light to turn green again. Otherwise, you must turn right at a red light after yielding to oncoming traffic. Stop for pedestrians who've begun crossing the road. Once a pedestrian has begun crossing the road, they have the right of way.
Good afternoon. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. This is the news brief. There is tension in the village of Tudunbiri, Igabi local government area, as at least 30 villagers are feared dead in a deadly bomb blast reportedly orchestrated by a suspected Nigerian Air Force jet. The incident took place at 9 p.m. during Maulud Festival, a gathering commemorating the birth of Prophet Muhammad. There are indications that the death toll may increase. As of press time, authorities have yet to provide a clear picture of what transpired. Meanwhile, Samuel Aruwan, the state's overseeing Commissioner of Internal Security, has confirmed the incident and promised an official statement later today. The Nigerian Air Force has yet to comment on the incident. The police authorities in Imo State have arrested the suspected killers of a divisional police officer and an inspector at Ihiazu Mbise local government area of the state. Parading the suspects at the command headquarters in Owerri, the Imo State capital, on Sunday, the Commissioner of Police, Danjuma Aboki, said the relentless efforts of the police and other security operatives in unveiling the killers of the police officers led to the invasion of indigenous people of Biafra Eastern Security Network camp at Umohie in Ngokpala local government area of the state. He said while several terrorists were dislodged, several arms and ammunition were recovered from the miscreants. According to the police commissioner, some other criminals were also arrested for various cases ranging from IPOB, ESN terrorism activities, armed robbery, murder, stealing, receiving stolen properties, cultism, and unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition.
In the course of investigation, there are 4 cases, a total number of 18 assault rifles, 5 AK-47 rifles, 6 pump actions, and total number of 359 rounds of ammunition, assaulted ammunition. From this source, we include 6 vehicles were recovered, motorcycle, charms, IPOB, ESN, ICNA, military camouflage, police, and other incriminating items were recovered from the criminals. Number 1, the lodgement of IPOB, ESN terrorist camp, recovery of arms and ammunition. Following the murder of the DPO of Iheze Mbese and an inspector of police on 27th of 11/2023 at Ihera Junction in Ihiazu Mbese by disposable elements suspected to be member of prescribed indigenous people of Biafra and its armed militia security network, and the subsequent confession of suspect arrested at the scene by the operator of Synergy with the military operative of the kidnapping unit. On 29th of last month, 2020, stormed the camp of criminal syndicate at Umohie in Ngokpala local government of Imo State, dislodged the terrorists, recovered 2 automatic pump action rifles and 6 rounds of live cartridge.
The need to create awareness on the dangers of substance abuse and the impacts on young people has been re-echoed. This formed the main thrust of a health seminar organized by the Christ Hospital Ministry Nigeria to commemorate its 22nd annual conference. The hospital ministry says it is worried about the dimension substance abuse is taking on Nigerian youths, hence the focus on prevention. Recently, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, reported that 14.3 million Nigerians between the ages of 15 to 64 are involved in drug abuse. While fielding questions from the newsmen President of the Christ Hospital Ministry in Nigeria, Reverend Samuel Ajibola, lamented the devastating effects of the menace on the family and the society. Guest speaker at the seminar, Dr. Olajumoke Koyejo, called for collaborative efforts to tackle substance abuse in the bud, while also tasking government for better policies.
The way of escape or to overcome of drug abuse, the most important thing is the awareness, whereby both adult and young and the community will be aware of the danger of the drug abuse, and also in order to prevent it of growing among the young people, especially with the exposure that is happening on the social media now. Today we believe by bringing the children from different schools and now bring the expertise that can educate us about drug abuse, that will help us in order for us to prevent it.
Government policies and implementation of these policies is extremely important. Let me give you an example. Now, when you go to Lagos State parks, they don't sell substance there anymore. So it is not at least accessible to them. Before now, they would display it glaringly. So if you make it, if they tax it to the high heavens and it's not easily accessible to people, it's not affordable to them. These are policies that would help in reducing it. And I talked about the school prevention. It's very important. Life skill training for our school. There won't be appreciable improvements if the Ministry of Education is not part of this. We're joking. So these are things that if attractiveness training, the life skills of our children are built, it gives them leverage, it helps them in saying no to these substances and to hold on to it. Even in their decision-making skills, this would really help.
Chairperson of the ministry in Nigeria, Olami Bosikpo Akinola, informed that the theme for the seminar was born out of the need to catch them young, as the trend has eaten deeply into the fabric of the society. She spoke alongside a participant.
As much as we try to avoid talking about it, and right before our eyes is spreading. So the churches are shying away from talking about this, and I'm afraid to say, even when we're talking about AIDS and HIV, whatever you want to call it, the churches were shying away from this. There are some things you can't shy away from. It's a problem in the society, and the churches, the mosques must be able to face. If they address it in the mosques, in the churches, it will help us, because
at first she told us on how to what psychoactive substances. And psychoactive substances, they are like drugs that alter the brain relaxation, and when they hijack the brain from relaxing. So examples of psychoactive substances, they are marijuana, cocaine, cannabis, and so on. For example, now, if the government could establish a prevention against drug abuse, drug abuse scheme, a prevention on it, and also if schools could be more effective in the social life.
President Bola Tinubu has pledged Nigeria's commitment to end gas flaring as part of its contribution to the global push to reduce methane emissions. Tinubu told world leaders at the COP28 summit on methane and other non-CO2 greenhouse gases in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Tinubu spoke alongside the COP28 president, Dr. Ahmed Al-Jaber, the United States Special Envoy to Climate Change, John Kerry, and the Chinese Envoy on Climate, Xi Zhenhua, saying Nigeria has incentives and punitive measures to encourage compliance and punish defaulters. Commending the Emirati government for its drive to reduce GHGs, the president welcomed new developments made by the entities, harping on the need for participants to implement their net zero commitments.
Committed to critical steps to reduce methane emission by ensuring flared gas are eliminated. There's a huge penalty for that, there's equally a huge incentive to do so. The measures that we're taking here is a welcome development, no doubt about that. And we are with the leadership of UAE for the commitment so far. We are consolidating on the gas export, usage domestically and export for other countries. I can assure you that we will be partner in progress to achieve renewables.
The 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, LP, Peter Obi, has faulted the number of Nigeria's delegation at the COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. President Bola Tinubu had on November 29, 2023, departed Abuja for Dubai for the summit expected to end December 12, 2023. In a post on X, the ex-governor of Anambra State described sending over 1,000 persons to the summit as a waste of scarce resources by the Tinubu administration. Obi lamented the huge contingent in Dubai at the public expense at a time when most Nigerians can hardly afford food and basic needs. Meanwhile, the presidential aide Temitope Ajayi, in a comment, defended the delegation of the president to the summit, saying that President Tinubu and other officials of the federal government's delegation are in Dubai for serious business, not a jamboree. A former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has strongly criticized the reported over-bloated delegation led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, to the COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai. In a statement released by his media advisor, Paul Ibe, Atiku criticized the size and nature of the delegation, suggesting that Tinubu lacked an understanding of the severity of Nigeria's economic challenges. Atiku questions the rationale behind converting a climate change conference into what he described as a jamboree, all-comers, and Owambe party with over 1,400 delegates. He characterized the situation as ridiculous and indicative of a governance approach lacking awareness and responsibility. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has urged President Bola Tinubu to provide a breakdown of expenses for the delegates representing Nigeria at the ongoing COP28 in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, UAE. Reports from the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, revealed that Nigeria boasts 1,411 participants, making it the third largest delegate count among the 81,027 registered attendees, matching China's figures. Furthermore, Nigeria has the largest delegation from Africa attending the summit. The composition of the Nigerian delegates includes ministers, governors, presidential special advisors, and notable members of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Criticisms has mounted against the federal government for allegedly using public funds to sponsor delegates, prompting outcry from Nigerian citizens. In a statement released on Sunday, Debo Olugunagba, the PDP spokesperson, accused Tinubu-led administration of misusing the country's limited resources. Meanwhile, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on Nigeria's Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, to reject the 15 billion naira plan by FCT Minister Nyesom Wike for a residence for Vice President Kashim Shettima. SERAP argues that the proposed spending is a breach of the Nigerian Constitution and international anti-corruption and human rights obligations. The group urges the Senate to exercise its constitutional oversight role. The National Assembly will hold joint sittings to consider President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 2024 budget proposal. Senator Adeola Olamilekun, chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation, stated that lawmakers will work on Saturdays and Sundays to meet the deadline. Olamilekun clarified that the sectoral details of the budget were released to the public and that the meeting was primarily focused on meeting the December 31 deadline.
We have discussed extensively so that we can still meet the 31st December, January deadline so that the president can assent the budget. So we have affected the strategy and we are ready to go. There are processes which we have to follow. Agencies will have to appear to defend their budgets and they will come back in returns. They will, return the budget to the appropriation committee for us to collate their findings at the committee level. But this time around, what has changed is that we'll be having joint sitting of both the House of Reps and the Senate. Okay. There will be no individual agency. It will be a joint sitting between the Senate and the House. Some committees will be operating from the Senate, while some will operate from the House of Reps, so that we can still meet the deadline. Part of the directive given by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is that all ministers at this point should ensure that they're on ground to defend their budgets before the National Assembly. And I know no head of agencies or parastatals will flout that order of the President. And we are working to...
Guinea-Bissau National Guard soldiers freed 2 members of the government who were being questioned by the police on Thursday night before exchanging gunfire with special forces, according to military and intelligence sources. The Minister of Economy and Finance, Suleiman Saidi, and the Secretary of State for the Treasury, Antonio Montero, had been summoned by the judiciary on Thursday morning and then taken into custody. The judicial police questioned the 2 senior officials for several hours about a withdrawal of $10 million from state coffers. Mr. Saidi had been questioned by MPs about the withdrawal during a session of the National Assembly on Monday. He claimed that the withdrawal was legal and intended to support the national private sector. The military leaders of Burkina Faso and Niger said they would quit the G5 anti-jihadist force in Africa's Sahel area, the latest blow to the fight against insurgents in one of the world's most troubled regions. The G5, created in 2014, has secured only meager results, with Mali also quitting the original 5-nation force last year, also in the wake of a military coup. Leaders of the 5 countries agreed to deploy a joint anti-terror task force backed by France in 2017, but the military rulers of Burkina Faso, Niger and Mali have all accused Paris of having an outsized role after years of French deployments on their territories. Burkina and Niger said in a statement that they have decided in full sovereignty to quit all instances of the G5 Sahel, including the joint force, as of November 29. The organization, according to the 2 countries, is failing to achieve its objective, and that the legitimate ambitions of member countries of making the G5 Sahel a zone of security and development are hindered by institutional red tape from a previous era, which points to the process of independence and dignity not being compatible with G5 participation in its current form. In a veiled reference to France, they added that the G5 Sahel cannot serve foreign interests to the detriment of the people, and even less the dictates of any power in the name of a partnership that threatens them like children, denying the sovereignty of the peoples. Outside Africa now, Israeli ground forces are confronting Hamas fighters across the Gaza Strip. The Israeli military said in its clearest indication yet that a planned ground offensive in the enclave's refugee-crowded south had begun, as its bombing killed and wounded dozens of Palestinians. The Hamas Palestinian military group said its fighters clashed with Israeli troops about 2 kilometers from the southern city of Khan Yunis. Residents, many of whom had moved there to flee earlier attacks in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, said they could hear tank fire and feared a new Israeli ground offensive was building. Meanwhile, rescuers say 11 hikers have been found dead near the crater of Indonesia's Marapi volcano after it erupted over the weekend. 3 people were rescued on Monday. The search for 12 more missing people had been suspended due to the small eruption. There were 75 hikers in the area at the time of the eruption, but most were safely evacuated. Mount Merapi, one of Indonesia's 127 active volcanoes, spewed ash as high as 3 kilometers into the air on Sunday. Authorities have imposed the second highest alert level and prohibited residents from going within 3 kilometers of the crater. In business news, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Henneken Lopobiri, has said the country is on a track to surpass the oil production quota set by OPEC. At the 36th OPEC and non-OPEC ministerial meeting, the global oil cartel suggested Nigeria could achieve 1.5 million barrels of crude oil per day in 2024. However, three consultancy firms, IHS, Rystad Energy and Wood Mackenzie, have said Nigeria will not meet the target. Nigeria currently produces 1.5 million barrels of crude oil daily. In entertainment news, Nigerian singer Okwayemi Rahim, popularly known as Later, has expressed his desire to return to his former record label YBNL Nation. The singer clarified that leaving YBNL wasn't intentional, and he expressed a desire to return, citing a lack of communication with Olamide before his departure. Later mentioned that Olamide doesn't follow anyone on Instagram, including him. He left YBNL Nation in 2019 after a disagreement with Olamide. He disclosed in an interview in 2022 that he left YBNL Nation because he heard a lot of things from friends and people in the industry. And finally, sports news. Manchester City was stunned by a depleted Tottenham as Dejan Kulusevski's 90th minute equalizer earned Spurs a thrilling 3-3 draw at the Etihad on Sunday. Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou insisted he would not relent from his philosophy of relentless attacking football despite facing the might of City with a mounting injury crisis, and earned his reward. The English and European champions dropped to third in the table, 3 points behind leaders Arsenal. And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex on limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. Thanks for being there.
The pandemic opened the world to a new dispensation regarding work. How people work and the career paths they take differ from generation to generation. There are 5 generations present in the modern workplace, each with unique expectations and perspectives. A person's career path is described as the work they do and the roles they hold as they climb up the ladder. Before the millennium, career paths for many was simply linear, which could be a person working at the same organization and growing there till they retired, or a person working in the same role but changing jobs a couple of times. Security and staying power were the cornerstone of sometimes interwoven and work at different roles in their journeys. Baby boomers and Generation X only considered a job good if it gave them the security to work there till they retire. But for millennials and Gen Z, the workplace has changed, and so has the career structure. Millennials often change their career paths or juggle multiple interests simultaneously. Being able to move from one job to another might signal a person's employability and adaptability. Baby boomers tend to believe that working long hours is what defines success and value face-to-face interactions with co-workers. In contrast, millennials believe that innovation and flexibility are key ingredients for success at work. The shift in occupational structures, for example, the increasing gig economy, is leading to polarization in employment, wages, and inequalities. From remote work policies to virtual leadership, the pandemic changed how we work. The opportunity to telework increased for some, such as knowledge workers, but not for frontline workers. Among the benefits are an improved work-life balance for some, as well as changed attitudes to well-being. Teleworking can lead to a higher productivity and lower operating costs for companies. Work is increasingly flexible and decentralized. Working from home or out of a workspace is favored by many because of the flexibility that comes with it. Millennials and Gen Zs prefer flexible work schedules and part-time hours so that they can
I'm an extrovert, but I'm also high on the introverted side. I like going to parties, I like making friends, but I also like keeping to myself. So at work, I'm not the friendliest. I would smile, I would say hi, but I don't need to. So it depends on your personality and what you need. For me, work from home works a lot for me because I get to spend time with my family. I'm always in the house with my partner, and that really makes me happy.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Utienyi Orishawarami Elu, and I am joined in studio by two amazing, beautiful women, Omolola and NJ. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
We're not excited.
Hi.
Monumental and auspicious day. Ladies and gentlemen, viewing public, Nigerians far and wide, Ways is 4 years old today.
4.
I mean, I'm so excited by today. I don't even know. I've been awake. I left my house at like 6:30 this morning. By now, my energy should have dipped. It should have waned. But I'm just excited because I cannot believe 4 years.
4 years. I know. Time passes so fast.
It does.
So fast.
If Waze was a child, be a toddler right now.
Wow, actually.
Wow. We'll be talking, waddling, walking.
Oh, this is the crucial point, right?
Yeah, well, sort of, before you get into the school age of 5.
This is the crucial point.
This
where they are everywhere.
Omolola is looking so pensive.
I know.
I don't know if she's about to be emotional, about to have an outburst.
Yeah, I think it's one of those two. I'm just out here thinking, 4 years. Wow.
4 years, right?
Yeah. Feels like yesterday when I joined the team.
It feels like yesterday when you joined the team. It feels like yesterday when I was standing in the green room watching the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, for it to be 4 years, I remember our party at 2.
Yeah.
And it's just been a wonderful ride. But today we have a absolute cornucopia. This episode today is not the usual episode. Today we're here to celebrate. We're here to talk about all the wonderful things that Ways means to us, and what you mean to us as our viewers. So here's what we found as today's quote. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. And that's by Jim Morrison. I think that's a very important quote for us here on Ways, because I think the concept of it really speaks to informing people, inspiring people, and influencing people to take action. So when we say Ways, it's a beautiful and wonderful thing. But what are your thoughts on the comments, on the quote, very quickly?
Whoever controls the media controls the mind. Not a lie. Is the truth in itself, whether you choose to believe it or not. We have seen the power of the media in so many ways. We've seen relationships, friendships, both business and personal, and even social, get rocked. They are both rocked due to something that came out in social media. Maybe I told you something and I told you not to tell anyone, and eventually someday we quarrel, and then out there is on social media. And it has been known to bring either good or bad.
It's incredibly powerful.
So it's very, very important tool. That's the reason why we always have to be very careful what we put out there. And
there's a responsibility, a very, very strong responsibility.
And you know, they say the internet never forgets.
Never.
So you got to be careful.
Yep.
You don't want to, in a couple of years, someone Googles your name and they see something.
Hey, God.
And it's always the bad things that come up first. Yes. So, and then you're mature, you're having this kind of conversation, you know, you're sitting down beside the president, and you just finished having a major conversation, thought-provoking conversation with maybe an ex-president or a current president, and then the next morning, you wake up to a lovely video of you. Something you did 25 years ago.
Twerking on the dance. Do you know that's one of my biggest fears?
Twerking, you can call it, you can say youthful exuberance. Yeah, we all did it. But there's some things that you have done that should never make it
see the light on the day.
Because you just know that it's going to have an effect, and at that point in time, whatever you put on social media, you won't be given the opportunity to come out and say, so this is what happened at the time, or this was where my mental health was at the time, or this was the reason that happened at the time. You don't have any explanation. You can't even tell them that you are no longer that person.
Yeah.
So it's just it's better to avoid it.
Yeah. And I think, you're talking about social media. I think social media in itself has been hugely transformative, and it has increased the power of the media exponentially. Because traditional media, you had to be around a radio or a TV
physically,
But now social media is in your hands. As long as you got a phone, you got data. It's right there. Whether you want the news or not, it's coming into your space, right? So really, really looking forward to this celebration that we have today. The Ways Show is 4 years old, and what a journey it has been. Happy birthday to us here at The Ways Show. To celebrate our big 4, we'll be having a very special episode as we journey through our experience over the past 4 years. Today, NJ and Omolola and Issy, who joins us via Zoom, we're all joining together to virtually celebrate this special day, and we look forward to having Uwa join us and some very special guests. But first, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
And co-anchors.
Somebody. 6, 5.
And I am joined by my amazing co-anchors. We have Issy and Nasa. Hello. I was gonna call her Naza.
No, don't you dare. I think she's gone through that enough. NASA with an S.
She was so traumatized.
She was appalled.
Isi, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm good,
You're glowing, girl.
Oh, really?
Newspaper that we have 12.5 million Nigerian children. And currently, we have about over, the number wasn't actually stated, but we have about 5 to 14 years of age out of school or not having quality education. And we also have 61% of children who are between the ages of 6 to 11 years of age who are not in school.
Of the education sector to other uses. And so what this means is the already the education sector that is already not thriving, and we need to put more money in. So because the allocation from the government isn't enough as it is, and then it's been diverted. For us, it doesn't even make sense. So some of the key challenges for education in Nigeria is poor infrastructure, teachers not getting paid enough. So he said the Senate needs to enact a law to penalize governments that are doing this, and he's concerned for the youth who then don't get into university because the infrastructure doesn't exist to accommodate the applicants that
Who has ever visited the Ministry of Education? Who has ever visited the Ministry of Education?
She was calm. She was relaxed, like she was unperturbed. Okay? But if somebody tells me that you have committed a crime,
the very eloquent and beautiful Isi Bakome Fodele. Ways has had a lot of wonderful anchors over 4 years. Isi is the oldest on the team, and she was actually on set on the very first episode, and Isi joins us now via Zoom. Hi, Isi. Hi, Isi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Happy birthday. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, we can. We're so excited to have you on set today. I was just saying how you were on the very, very first episode of Ways, and we'd like to just hear about your experience, what it's been like, and what your goodwill message is for the show on our 4th anniversary.
If I had to say what I've been through on the show, I have a lot to say, but I would work through a few things that we've gone through with Osayiwa May as a team. We've grown tremendously. I can't say how far we have come. When we started, we went through the auditions. We went to different channels for audition, and we ended up in Plus TV Africa. So it has been one challenge after the other, but we have been able to pull through all of these challenges. If not for the tenacity and doggedness of Osayiwa May and the ladies of Ways, I don't think we'll be standing here celebrating Ways at 4. So it has been a long journey for us. It's been fun. At the same time, we've experienced growth. At the same time, we are looking forward to a better future for Ways, where all the ladies in Ways will grow, and Ways as a brand will grow better than what it is today.
Absolutely. I love that you touched on the determination, the doggedness, and I'm certainly looking forward to hearing from Owa, because you summed it up real good. To make it through 4 years, it's definitely been amazing. Like I said, over the 4 years, we've had a whole bunch of different anchors. So we started with the old, and now we're moving to one of the new but older members of the team.
See, love we work, but you see, laws we also work. Yeah. If I take you to jail and you see somebody say go to jail.
Are you going to raise a petition?
We've raised petition tirelessly now. Continue. Take your message. Don't face me this night. It's not me. I'm not the cause of your problem.
Hi, ladies. With the precedent set last Saturday, the ruling government has lost the
effrontery to correct any ills in the society because they allowed impunity to fester to the point of depriving the citizens of their legitimate right to vote. They lost any shade of authority to correct anyone for wrongdoing, and that is tantamount to anarchy. Absolutely. How ridiculous can we be as a people? Sorry, how ridiculous can we as a people reject this?
So, NJ is with us here in studio today, the lady of the many glasses and the many hairstyles, and a very distinct voice, if I will add that as well. What's your journey been like, always? How long has it been?
I think maybe about a year thereabout. Yeah, but I know I've been on
a guest a couple of times.
A guest a couple of times, and I have worked with UWA on some other projects before now. So yeah, it's been a lovely experience, and I think I would say when I reflect, it's been a while, and a lot has happened within that time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to build relationships, mixed with other old and new anchors. So it's I've never done this before, even though it was what I studied. I studied mass communication.
Oh, really?
But I never really thought I would find myself behind the screen in any form. I always hid behind the camera. So, but the first time I was a guest on the show, I just told myself, I said, okay, now this is a different way you can be in front of the camera, because it's something, being able to provide solutions to people's problems, and give out the right information per time. It's very helpful to other people, and it's kind of like a responsibility, and it's something that I do in my daily life and in my normal 9-to-5 job. So doing it on screen, the only difference was that, and the part that I love is that I get to look at a screen and no one is looking back at me. So I'm not speaking to an audience, I'm speaking to an invisible audience. So it makes it easier to deal with. You don't have to think about people's reactions and stuff like that. But I have noticed also that over the years, it has greatly helped to even improve my daily life. So speaking now is easier and is more fluent. I was saying that last week I had a couple of conferences that I had to attend with my boss, and he threw me under the bus and just told me, go up there, you're going to do introduction, and I thought it was just a normal introduction until I saw what I was going to do or what I was supposed to say. And for some reason, with everyone, all my team members shaking for me, to an extent, I kind of just told myself, you've done this and you've been doing this for the last couple of months. So, just act like you're talking to that camera and then just say what you have to say. And I wrote down a couple of things and said it. And at the end of the day, he was very excited that, I was able to take up that challenge. So it generally improves you, and there's a lot of personal development therein, and there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of information. And being able to have that information and be able to, inform other people. So because you have to do some research, so you have to have information. You can't give what you don't have. So it makes you do certain things in yourself that helps to improve you as an individual, and thereby giving back to our viewers and all those out there. So I would love to say, even as the journey continues, we will continue to improve and get better. Happy 4th birthday. And we hope that we'll continue to get bigger as a group and better even as a show. Happy birthday, Ray.
Thank you so much, NJ. The next anchor / do everything person has a very interesting journey on Ways.
I had like menstrual issues, and then it was really hard for me to even be able to track or to understand what was going on. And then I realized, well, enough is enough. I can't leave this to myself. So I saw the app, and some of them will ask me for money, some of them will take me. So it kind of discourages you for a bit. But ever since, that's 2 years ago, ever since I've been using the app, I don't even stress. Sometimes I don't even remember my period. But it's like the moment I check the app, that's when I'm like, oh, supposed to be tomorrow. I check. But then it doesn't mean they do not need that information. Right. They do not need to have a limit, because you find out that most people that don't have access to these things, when they start to get to a certain age.
So I take some small pride in this particular young lady's journey on Ways. But I'll let someone else share her story.
Hi.
Hello.
Happy birthday, Ways. I've been on Ways for 2 years now, and
it
feels longer. And I think my favorite thing about Ways is just watching everyone grow. Yeah. I used to feel like, oh, I'm young, I have energy, but then I'm with these older people that keep like surpassing expectations back to back to back. I'm like, I have to double up. I have to double up. And then, just a couple of months ago, we had the Gen Z takeover, and I realized that even the generation coming, they know what they're doing, they know what they're saying. I was like, I have to double up. Yeah. So I think my journey so far on Ways has been one of growth, continuously redefining myself. Look at me, I'm in front of the camera, I'm usually behind the camera. Right now I'm in front of and behind the camera all at once. And who would have thought I would have been able to do that?
She's got magical powers, folks. It is a fantastic story, from intern to do everything, fix everything, to producer extraordinaire. It's been definitely an amazing 2 years having you on the show.
Thank you. It's been amazing being here.
So I think we have another clip coming, and this one is my favorite. Yes, I'm biased. Thank you. Is a program set up by the Nigerian government during the military regime to involve Nigerian graduates in nation building and the development of the country. There is no military
command. It was just an opportunity for some people, and to even get out of their house.
Was that your first time in Abuja when you served?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you had some experience with the town already?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. But you can never... NYSC in Abuja is that it's in...
I'm still in touch with my boss as well. So all of these things, I think, the question for me in wanting to hear what your experiences were like is the first part of it that says, is NYSC still worth it? Mm-hmm. One of the things that I took away from that camp was meeting so many people from all over Nigeria. Mm-hmm. That for me, my camp was very well blended with people from all over Nigeria. So in case you didn't notice, that was my clip. For me, media is my passion. Media is my calling. Let me put it that way. As we celebrate for today, I am excited. I know I've said it a few times, because this is probably the longest I have spent on one single show. I've always done media. Ways for me is a labor of love. It's an opportunity to do something that I'm extremely passionate about, which is to spread logical information and to educate people and cause Nigerians to see Nigeria and my fellow Nigerians the way I see them through my eyes. I hope that over the last 4 years, I've been able to give something to each and every one of our viewers, and and to bring some insightful information to your screen. So that's been my goal, and I hope I've achieved it, and I hope that for the next 4, the next 5, and maybe even the next 10, that I continue to get the opportunity to do that. So happy anniversary to Ways. Please stay with us. We've still got a lot more. We'll be right back.
we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thought and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
Welcome back. Uwa is here with us. She's not here physically, but she's here virtually to tell us all about this wonderful concept and why we're sitting here today, 4 years later, celebrating. Hi, Uwa, are you there?
Hi, Uti. Hello everyone. Hi, NJ. Hi, Omolola.
Hi, Uwa.
Hi, Isi. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So, I don't think there's anything I have to say again. Apologies. We have work. Parallax Consulting is the one paying our fees, so we have to work. But I don't think there's anything else I want to really add, because I am. What I would want to say is, I mean, this that we're doing right here gives me so much joy. It gives me so much fulfillment, knowing that, you know, it's one thing for you to have a vision, it's another thing for other people to carry that vision, you know, and hold it dear to their heart as though it were, you know, their vision as well. So I'm super grateful. I don't take it for granted for every single member of the team that has been a member of WAYS from inception. We all have been amazing women. I mean, just watching some of the old clips brings a bit of nostalgia, you know, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful. The call for WAYS has always been, you know, passing the right information, transforming lives, right? And I know so many people that they never had experience with TV, you know, coming, just encountering us on WAYS, and, you know, their lives have transformed. I mean, so many people have gone into politics, gotten some appointments. I mean, it's just been one testimony after the other, and, you know, I'm grateful to the platform that we eventually chose. I mean, Isi was with us on our very first episode where we shot. We were supposed to air somewhere else, but, you know, God did not want us to be there, so we then moved, and we've been with Plus TV for the past 4 years. So we're grateful for that. We're hoping that it's going to be bigger, it's going to be better. And I just want to say thank you to every member of the team. I think, sometimes you know that, yes, these people, they got you, right? That's the kind of confidence that I have with the women on Ways. Like you rightly said, Uti, is a labor of love. It's not something that, if you say, okay, maybe it's financially rewarding or something. And this is, what people are always used to now. It is something that it has to be financially rewarding for them, for it to make sense. But, that has not been our story on Ways. It has never been our story. Our commitment or our motivation has never been financial. It's the fact that every member of the team truly believes that their voice counts and can change and transform lives, right? We can truly make a difference. And I love the quote for today. And that's the call for Ways. We understand the power of media and we know what media can do in terms of transforming the minds of people. Once you're able to transform a mind, you have transformed that life. So, and that's our call for Ways. We are very, very deliberate about, mind transformation and making sure that we, even in our topic selection, the kinds of things we talk about, of course, again, we're passionate about small businesses. We're passionate about your health, your mental health, your well-being. We're passionate about personal growth and development. And that's why you can hear testimonies like NJ saying that even her personally, and what's her name, Omolola, personal journey, you've grown. I mean, I watched myself, I said, now, wow, things have changed though. We have been upgraded. But hey, we give God all the glory. I remember that our tiny table, oh my God.
That was so small. The tiny chairs, you remember the table, I remember the chairs. You sort of had to, you balance on one side.
Complaining about that chair. Wanted to frustrate you. Look at the tiny table that Issy, Nata, and I sat in. I said, oh my gosh, we've really grown. And, it can only get better. It can only get, I'm grateful for the past 4 years and we know that bigger things are coming. So I'll stop here because I know we have a lot of people, to speak with, but thank you again, everyone.
Absolutely do. Thank you, Uwa. Thank you for the vision and thank you for keeping the team and Ways going. Like Uwa said, we have been here and there have been a lot of ladies around this table as co-anchors. We have had, at any given point in time, I think there's about 9 or 10 anchors if you sort of see the montage we've had. And I think the main thing to mention, I think is really unique about Ways is we're not media people. We're all subject matter experts in different areas of our lives, whether it be customer experience, whether it be law, entertainment, public speaking, development, MSME experts. We've had all sorts of wonderful, beautiful, and bright women on the show. We're going to run through a clip very quickly to celebrate them all.
Uti, sorry, quickly, can I just say something before you run through that clip? Just one thing, because what you just pointed out, I wanted to just quickly touch on it, that it was important that we brought women that were not, your regular TV people. They were 9 to 5 women that had their day job, but they were also passionate about the things that concern the nation. So it was a blessing finding those women, out of their busy schedules, coming every night after close of work to come and, contribute to the conversations that happens on Ways. We were very deliberate and intentional about the kind of women, and we've been so blessed to have every single member of the team. Yeah. I'll keep quiet now.
So I think we have a clip coming up.
Yeah.
know, right? It's a lot. I mean, as it was playing, I was just thinking, wow, lawyers, politicians, like literally, that is the gamut of smart, leading, beautiful ladies. And we have some of our, I would say, co-anchors, forever sisters, who have been part of this team. Alumni, thank you, who are also joining us here today. So I think we have AK Jojo, Akanima Ojo, our CEO, country manager, SME expert. The list goes on, and I'm still talking about the same woman. Hi, AK.
Hi. Well, I was expecting that introduction. Well done. Thank you, but thank you. That was so powerful. Hi. I would say.
We've loved having you on the show. I mean, I was just watching through some of the clips, but what was the highlight for you, you know, your time on Ways?
Well, for me, it would be the friendship. It would be being amongst very powerful women that knew exactly what they wanted out of life. They were very intentional women. And to have this bunch of women in one room and not quarrel on set, it's a blessing. Nobody would believe it. I spent 2 years on Ways, approximately 2 years, and I had never come to quarrel on set, never. I think the most upset we were being, probably we were running late and then the camera wasn't set properly. That was only, and it was little things, but we never had the women quarrel. And I could pick up my phone and call anybody. I called about 2 weeks ago or last week. I was a problem and I needed help. But that ability to be able to have these characters in the room express themselves, be themselves, and still give to the audience authenticity is something that is rare. That is something I enjoy, and that is something that's uncommon. You have these shows everywhere, international, local, and you would hear news on social media about two bursts, you know, people are quarreling, somebody doesn't like what somebody's wearing, or somebody's dissing someone. But it has never happened on Ways. And for me, that was, apart from having a platform where we came to express ourselves and contribute to society, especially as it concerns women, children, SMEs, and the underprivileged, the fact that you can form honest friendship that radiated through our speaking, we're not just coming to talk, but we're living it. That for me was the pinnacle of everything that happened on Ways. And thank you for being the kind of person that you are, and for allowing us to be the kind of people that we were and still are. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you know, like you said, it's a family, it's a journey. Today we have called and you have answered, so it's great to see you. Thank you for joining us. I think I also spied another person that I will call is Labor of Love. Norma is our beauty expert, public speaker extraordinaire, like Poshko, thank you. You know, Norma wears many hats, not to mention she's mommy, she's literally, it's just plenty things. Hi Norma, it's so great to see you. Thank you for joining us. What's your journey been like?
Hi UT, hi everyone. Thank you for having me.
You look amazing as always.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Congratulations, ladies. Congratulations, Uwa. 4 years. I can't even believe that 4 years is gone since we started this experience. And it's been a great journey. I mean, some of us have been working in the sidelines or behind the scenes, but just observing generally the growth with the women, the growth with delivery and presentation. And for me, I always love Upgrade. Anyone that knows me knows that I love Upgrade. Anything that is forward thinking and progressive, trust me, I am there. And I'm so happy for Ways because it started as a dream. It started as something that was just in the mind, you know, and trust her, she's always having so many ideas coming up in her head. Oh, I should do this, I should do that. But when this came out, it was birthed from a place of real hunger for a change, for some kind of change in the direction of young people, young talent, to help people to have a rethink and a recalibration of their minds in the way they think about the world in general. So it's not just about face washing or just shallow thinking, but really thinking deep about how our actions or how our behavior changes the narrative everywhere we find ourselves. And that's what I love about Ways, the fact that it helps you to take away something to think about and see how you can even plug in and be like the solution. That's what really it's about. And that's what drew me to the caliber of women, the people that are just involved. It's a family. It's become a family. And anyone that comes in finds their place. You're not trying to be somebody else. You're original. You're authentic. So this is a very beautiful place to grow. Coincidentally, I'm doing a program in broadcast performance because having had that background and seeing what it can be like, I said, let me even go deeper. And man, it is not easy at all. We're looking the way we are looking today, but trust me, like I always say on the show, we don't
look how we're going through. Yep.
Like we go through, but thank God it's 4 years, beautiful experience. Women have grown, and we are getting better and better. So congratulations, Uwa. It can only be, even more dynamic and extraordinary from here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Noma. We really want to hear from our viewers as well. So please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. Now, it's not just about the anchors. We also have people we like to call friends of the house. You've seen them on the show, episode after episode, time after time, as our guests, our subject matter experts, the people who come here to teach us from their wealth of knowledge. Today we have, I believe, a few of them joining us as well. I know that Jeffrey is on the call with us. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi, how are you doing? Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. You absolutely qualify as a friend of the house. How many times have you been on Ways now, Jeffrey? Do you remember?
About five or six times now.
5 or 6 times. So you're the real MVP. You're the man supporting the women of Ways. That deserves a round of applause.
I try.
Thank you for answering the call every time we call and for bringing new things to this table and to the conversation. What are your thoughts around your time and across our different episodes on the show?
Well, when you walk into the room and you're the only guy around 4 to 3 women, you need to be calm and understand that you need to, let them lead and enjoy the conversation. I think for me, just thinking back as everyone else was talking, is just to see how typical day-to-day people that can really make a difference. And I like what Uwa said when she mentioned the last point, that within one celebrity, we're so prepared. They know the topics, they understand the context of the conversation, so you don't feel like you have to say everything. Sometimes, because of how informed the ladies are, it allows me to breathe. I can just take a break, listen, and then join the conversation, because you're talking to people who understand most of these conversations and are able to make realistic contributions to that as well. And to be honest, a lot has changed. I remember the studio way back. Now, there was a time I walked in and there was like a lot of expansion. The lights were different, the decor was different, the seat was different. And someone did mention, I think that was Naomi or so, she said, I like how things evolve, and things have evolved. Even the topics, the conversation, the audience that you have, the followership that you have, it just means that you're doing something right? Every time you come on, people want to know what you want to talk about, people calling, people contribute. And I thought it was more than 4 years. I was thinking this is like 10 years kind of achievement. Because you guys have done so much, and so many faces have come through the show as well. It's now hard to even keep up. Decade. And we're going to be saying, do you remember that time we did this 6 years ago?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you're bringing on fresh faces, you know, new people who want to experience media and also grow their career using this platform as well in the media space. So well done to all of you ladies. I'm really, really proud to have been a part of the show and to meet everyone as well.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey, and we look forward to you being a friend of the house today, tomorrow, and always. So thank you for joining us. The Way Show is not just about the anchors, it's not just about our guests, but it's also about you, our viewers. Everything that we do is really for you. The concept of Ways is for you as you tune in to join us every single day. Now, if you do watch the show, you know that there isn't an episode that goes by without the wonderful messages that we receive from Daniel Illo. His messages are not only...
I'm coming.
Hi, Daniel. Good evening. We can hear you. You're live.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening.
Hello, I'm hearing you.
All right,
hello.
Thank you for joining us. This is the first time we get to hear your voice.
Yeah. Good evening. How is everything?
Fine, thank you. So I think there's an echo. Maybe you want to turn down your TV set?
Yeah, it's off. It's off.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So,
Sister Uti, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We couldn't have celebrated today without
Sister Uti,
you.
good evening. Yeah.
Good evening. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Fantastic. We couldn't have celebrated the show today without you. It's important, like we said, you as our viewers, you're very important to us. What is it about the show that you like so much that causes you to, be consistent in communicating and engaging with us?
Well, I love this show because of the wonderful, beautiful women that God has gathered to keep us informed about the happenings of the things in Nigeria. Because I always tell people that if you are not informed, you are deformed. I always tell people that if you are not deformed, you are deformed. But I enjoy this show because the beautiful ladies on set, they allow me to know the happenings of the things in Nigeria. And I want to commend Sister Uwa. She's a wonderful leader, a great anchor. I respect her. She's doing a wonderful and marvelous job. God bless her in Jesus' name.
Amen.
We hope that
God bless her.
At some point we get to meet you in person. Maybe when we turn 5, you'll join us for a physical celebration.
Yes, I really want to meet you ladies because you ladies have transformed my life through your program, everything, and I have never regretted being a fan of this wonderful show.
Thank you
I've
so
never
much.
regretted being a fan of this wonderful show because I love you ladies a lot. And you are doing a very good job. Beautiful ladies that are doing what they're doing.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, Daniel, and we'll certainly look forward to continuing to receive your messages. It's been a wonderful
Sister Uti, just take care of yourself and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been a wonderful celebration. It's been a wonderful journey down memory lane. I think we still have a few anchors joining us online. Dami is there, but before we come to Dami, we're fast. As we always say on the show, we're running out of time. So I think that some things are consistent no matter what. But I think we've told a good story of our journey on the show today. And there is no celebration, in my opinion. I think I said it on the show. Whether it's birthday, and this is a birthday, or anniversary, there's no birthday without cake. If there's no cake, it's not real. No. So I think that we get the opportunity to celebrate Ways with a cake that says we are 4. We will eat yours for you, so thank you. So I think Awala is rightly positioned to cut the cake on behalf of the ladies of Ways. So please stretch out your hands. Thank you. We're going to do WAYS.
Yes.
And you're going to cut it. So, W for women.
Yay.
A for active. Y for young, and S for superb. So, happy birthday to us at Ways, and I think that thank you, and I think that as we also raise our glasses to celebrate the show, 4 years, we have Damilola on. I think Damilola is joining us virtually as we toast to say her own few words about her time as part of the team, because she's also a multifaceted human being. She's our voice on the streets.
Yes,
hi, Damilola. Hi, Damilola, are you there? Anyway, so whilst we wait for Damilola to join us, ladies, a toast to Ways, to 4 more, and another 4, another 4, to a table filled with beautiful women spreading the right information, inspiring Nigerians, and influencing everyone to do better. And to our viewers, cheers.
Cheers. Happy anniversary to Wings. Okay, sorry.
You guys. So again, for all the anchors that have joined us virtually, we will drink and eat and celebrate. So I think Dami is joining us now to give our final message before we wrap for tonight.
Okay, I'm just going to be very quick. Hi everyone, good evening and happy birthday, happy 4th anniversary to Ways. Thank you very much, Owa, for finding me. I use the word finding because I believe I was just found. I mean, because I joined in last year and I just started off by accompanying my friend to the studio because she was the original co-anchor on the show. But then I just accompanied her every time she came to the show because, I mean, why not? But then I just found me and realized that, okay, yeah, this person actually is a natural. She can do this. And then that's how I started off on the street and now even hosting a separate show by myself. I mean, I'm very happy for my own progress. Thank you very much, Owa, for the opportunity because I count it an opportunity, trust me. And one more time, happy birthday to Ways.
Thank you, Dami. I think, like I said, we've run out of time. We do also have another friend of the house in, Vumile. I got it right? I hope so. To just, if she's there, to give us a quick wave for taking the time to join us again as we celebrate. As we close out the show, I don't know, is Vumi there? All right, so maybe we'll get her on. But as we usually say when we're wrapping up the show, I don't know if we have some messages to take or where time is out.
Well, I mean, we have one that says, happy anniversary and keep up the good work, beautiful mind. This is Raphael from Zaria.
Another person who watches the show and messages us constantly. Thank you so much. As always, before we go, do ensure that you follow us on Instagram at Ways Show Africa. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media interactions and engagements. Remember to like, share, comment, invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. And as we close out the show today, we promise you that we will be back on Monday. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. We hope that we don't only control your mind, but we have your heart. Thank you and see you next week.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely, right? No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry.
You're watching Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
It is not the hope of this feature to blame anyone for the never-ending tension between police and the citizens. However, it is certain that there is always a tension with most people when they approach a police checkpoint. Many factors are responsible for this tension, including not knowing what to expect or do, seeing the police as the enemy, or even being guilty of an infraction. Many issues that go wrong at a police checkpoint can be linked to lack of proper communication and understanding on the side of the police force and also on the side of the citizen. Here are some tips listed by the police force about comporting yourself at a police checkpoint. Endeavor to slow down your vehicle. It shows that you're not reckless. It also douses suspicion that you're a criminal and may want to speed off. Turn down the volume of your car stereo. Courtesy demands this. Besides, you are able to hear each other better. This simple act will help you win the confidence of the security operative. Keep your hands visible to avoid unnecessary suspicion or fear by the officers that you're attempting to bring out a gun or other harmful objects to attack them. Turn on the inner light of your vehicle while approaching the cops if at night. It readily sends an unspoken message that you have nothing to hide.
That's the nature of your job, officer. Don't worry. That's the nature of everything will be fine.
Be friendly and cheerful. Commend the officers, especially when you see them working under very unfriendly weather conditions such as rains and harsh Harmattan conditions, excessive heat, cold or sunshine. We know it's their job, but a little kind word from you will do a lot of good. Remember, when you smile at the mirror smiles back at you.
Officer will not come down. Let's see what you do.
Don't mind this.
We won't come down.
Endeavor to be polite when answering questions put to you by the officers. Don't dare or challenge an armed security man to a duel. Oftentimes, you hear people say things like, "Shoot me if you can." Note that this is a recipe for disaster. It is a very provocative and unnecessary call for war. So please, play safe, more so as you do not know the state of mind of the officer concerned. Also, don't go into a physical fight with an armed security officer. He may resort to the use of his weapon to defend himself. Avoid unnecessary arguments with armed security personnel. There are 1,001 ways to seek redress where you feel your rights have been infringed upon. Never try to touch an officer in an unfriendly manner. He may suspect you of trying to disarm him. If you're a regular traveler or road user, make sure you have the police emergency phone numbers of the route you operate. You never can tell when an emergency situation could arise and you need the police to come to your aid. Make sure you have all your relevant car papers and desist from actions or inactions that constitute either a criminal or traffic offense. Such infractions of the law provide a veritable grounds for possible charges and other forms of adversarial contact with the police or other law enforcement agencies, including unnecessary arguments. Don't give the impression that you're unhappy to see the officer on his beat or that he's wasting your time. But if you do have an emergency, politely inform the officer. Don't speed off while still being checked. Take note of the name tags, force or service numbers, personal description of weapon or patrol vehicle of the security officer, especially where the officers begin to conduct themselves in an unprofessional manner. Seek an audience with the most senior officer at the checkpoint if things are not working out smoothly. Politely insist to be taken to the police station if your complaint is not properly addressed.
tomorrow. The entire family of Akinshola and Ogunshemore announced the passing of our beloved husband, father, brother, and uncle, Chief Funsho Akinshola, Sunla of Ondo Kingdom, aged 83, who slept in the Lord October 10th, 2023. Burial arrangements. 7th of December, service of songs at his residence, Road 16, House 5, Fumbi Fago Estate. Time 5 p.m. Wake, also at his residence. Time 8 p.m. Funeral service on Friday the 8th of December at the All Saints Anglican Church, Ondo. Time 9 a.m. Interment follows immediately. This is strictly for the family. Hello and welcome. On this episode on One-on-One today, I'm speaking with a professional with over 18 years experience. His name is Aziz Abida. Now, those who have worked with him say he possesses strong leadership qualities and management skills. He has worked in about 12 industries, including general management, corporate finance, portfolio management, investment banking, private equity and financial advisory. He's the former CEO of IHS Rwanda, one of the top 10 largest companies in Rwanda with an estimate of 50 million annual revenue. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Amida.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time. My first question to you is, like, you've done all of these things. What are you up to now?
Well, right now I left IHS in September, so I decided to take time to write a book and I consult for a lot of companies now, about 3-4, on structuring themselves for growth and helping them position themselves for funding and the rest. Then also spending some time setting up my foundation to, give back to society as we go. Yeah, so that's more like.
So now that you're in control of your own time, are you busier than when you worked for companies?
Yes. Right now, I can't remember the last time I slept before 3 a.m. I still get my 6 hours daily, but I sleep almost 3 a.m. daily now because you're in control and you just feel like this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this, and then you're juggling. Before it was like one company you're working for. Now you're juggling about 3 companies together to make sure, okay, yes, tomorrow morning we need to go for an investor presentation, make sure this is ready, and things like that. So it's much busy now.
Oh, wow. Okay, so every time we hear this word corporate governance, how do we ensure that companies follow through with it? We only just being another tick box exercise.
I think we are beyond the age of corporate governance being a tick box now. It's now companies are looking for, there are very few companies out there that are not looking for funding. And when you talk about those, when you look at the companies that are looking for funding, investors are very focused on those sort of things. You cannot just come to an investor and he says, okay, if I give you money, how do I ensure it's safe? So those are areas that are really becoming more and more critical. So if you treat it as a tick box now, you'll most likely pay for it really big. So corporate governance is extremely important, especially since 2008 when we have this whole financial crisis, and it's been that way since then. So you have US implementing Sarbanes-Oxley and a lot of other policies coming into place to ensure that you can protect stakeholders in a business through corporate governance. So yeah, I don't think any company would ever treat it as a tick box anymore. It would be difficult.
Okay, well, if you say so. Now let's talk about leadership.
Okay.
In Nigeria, everybody goes on about how we have a leadership problem. And every time when we talk about leadership, we look at politicians, we look at government agencies, and we assume that corporate organizations, private-owned companies will do it better. But some of them have leadership challenges. Why?
Well, I would say I think some of them is a big understatement. There is no way you don't have a leadership challenge, one or the other, whether small or big. It's the degree that varies. So if you go to some of the most advanced companies you have in the world, you would be surprised what you find when you get to their leadership. So, but the important factor to understand about leadership is that everyone is always learning on the job. We treat leaders as if they are these super robot human beings that are just there. They can't make mistakes. They would make mistakes, but they make it in different degrees. And a lot of them realize, they take a step back, and then they go forward again. So, but what differentiates a leader from every other person is actually that bird's eye view, that, okay, even if I'm making a mistake, I still see the impact on everything. And then you just start filling in pieces. So you can't really say that there is no challenge of leadership anywhere. Private organizations have a lot, from controlling politics to controlling employee engagement to making sure everybody is equally treated. It's a lot of problems on the leadership side. So yeah, I don't think it's private organizations have it better scenario.
Well,
no.
we all assume they have it better.
I've never assumed that.
Okay, now let's talk also about finding. So this CEO is about to resign. Why is succeeding him always sometimes like a challenge? Why is grooming leaders to succeed people a challenge sometimes?
Well, you can't really know a successor is good until he succeeds. So it's like I always say, if I have you as a staff, you're fantastic at what you do. Then you tell me there's another guy that is behind you. I could tell you, okay, yeah, that guy is there. But the question is, you're going, I know what I get, but I don't know what I'm going to get with the next guy. So it's like an investment. You want to invest in something. Do you know the return? No.
Okay.
So technically, it's a bit difficult to go to the point. So succession planning is always something that would be a problem. So, but what companies are now doing is to make sure that even if we don't know what we're going to get, at least we can pass as much knowledge as possible to the next person. Then you introduce mentors when they take over. Okay, how do you... So like for me, when I was leaving IHS Nigeria to IHS Rwanda, I was director of FP&A for 7 years in Nigeria. Okay. Then I went to Rwanda as CEO. Now, somebody took over after me, and I spent a lot of time saying to the person, okay, how do you need to do this, this, this. These are the sort of relationships you need to build. These are the areas you need to go. So that sort of mentorship helps a lot in succession, but it is never risk-free. It's impossible because you still have the ego. You still have a lot of things that comes in place. And then you have the unwillingness of the person that left to give that person the chance to do it. So it's a lot of variables to juggle around. So yeah, it's always going to be a problem.
Is it not possible that beyond, even though of course the leader makes the company, is it not possible to create a system such a way that regardless of the leader, we're able to develop whosoever might want to succeed the CEO or the MD when he's leaving? Is it possible to ingrain it even from when they come, when we take them in as trainees, so ingrain it just before they move up?
Well, yeah, it's possible, but the point is, if you want to test that theory, let's take a country like the US. Most of these guys that are leaders in the US, they go through schools, the best schools in the world, come through one of the best political systems in the world, but do they end up being the best leaders in the world? Not really. You really can't.
Mr. Amida, let's come to our country.
No, but I'm trying to stay away from.
Why? Because I just also feel like Nigeria. So it's fantastic that you made that analysis. They go into the best schools. Yes, it doesn't always mean the same, but like in the schools, in learning, there's some. They're doing projects, they're doing like different things. But Nigeria is, like we say, man no man has brought this person in, whether he has the capabilities or not, whether he has I don't even really like to look at degrees because I always say that degrees is not character. At the end of the day.
True, I agree with you. And at the same time, I always